Hello, beloveds. Welcome back. So, we are currently in season 2. I believe this is episode 5 of the Word Says podcast. My name is Abram. I am your host. I guess that would be my title. For those of you who are new, thank you so much for jumping in and just kind of taking this journey with me. I actually started this podcast probably a couple months ago. And it literally was born out of the fact that, I asked Yah a specific question, God, I asked him a specific question about when was the Sabbath. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna teach it to you from the beginning. And I was like, okay, cool. And so what started out as a question has turned into, at this point, 2 seasons of a podcast, because at the same time of me asking him about the Sabbath, I was like, you know what? I want you to be my mentor. I want you to teach me your word. I want you to reveal to me the truth of your word, while also uncovering the lies of what the enemy has tried to make us think all of this time. And so, yeah, it's been an amazing journey. So be sure to go back and take a look at all of those. But now let's jump back into what we were talking about. So we have been talking about Lot, right? And what was kind of going on with him and his family, his wife, everything with Sodom and Gomorrah and all of the things, right? So now we're transitioning back into talking about Abram, and just how his life begins to unfold, right? And the things that surround his life and what's happening with him, right? So we are currently in Genesis chapter 16, which also corresponds with the book of Jasher, chapter 16. For those of you who don't know, we have been coordinating the book of Genesis with the book of Jasher, because Genesis is pretty much like the overview of what was going on during the time, whereas Jasher, it gives you the explicit details, right? So we are connecting Genesis and Jasher at the same time, right? Shout out to Pastor Omar for teaching me about the book of Jasher, and just outlining the connections and how it really is important that we read that book. All right, so let's get into it. So in Genesis chapter 16 and Jasher chapter 16, this is where we get into talking about Abram and Sarah and Hagar, right? This is, what's the word? Wild. This situation is wild, right? So in Genesis chapter 16, let's start verses 1 through 6. And I'm going to be looking at my notes just in case, so I don't want to forget anything, right? So if you see me looking up, it's because I'm looking at my notes. But what I realized about Genesis chapter 16 is it's pretty much a mirror of what happened in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve. Like, literally a mirror, right? So basically what ends up happening is, Abram, he knew the word of the Lord, right? The word of the Lord came to him, told him he was going to have a great multitude of seed, all of that, right? Before this even happened in Genesis chapter 16, right? He knew him and Sarah were going to have kids. Like, he knew what was going to happen. He knew that the word that the Lord had given to him, right? Instead of him taking that word, hearkening to that word, right, and standing on that word, he decided, I'm going to let my wife do what she wants to do, which is basically going to put us in sin. It's basically going to have us engage in sin, right? And that's where as I was reading it, I was like, this sounds familiar. Like, this sounds exactly like what happened in Genesis with Adam and Eve, right? Adam knew what the Lord told him to do and what he told him not to do. And yet he decides to listen to Eve instead of hearkening to the word of the Lord. Like, but you knew what was up. Why would you even? Anywho, not only did he say okay to her saying, here's my handmaid Hagar, let's have kids through her, right? Basically creating the very first surrogate / baby mama, right? What went even deeper for me is that Hagar and Hagar and Abram are not married, right? Sarah and Abram are married, right? They are in a covenant relationship, right? So basically, if we break that down, Sarah basically tells Abram, we're going to have kids through my handmaid. I want her to be our surrogate. Abram says okay and commits adultery with Hagar. Yes, I said what I just said. He committed adultery. That's what he did. I don't care what you're talking about. That's exactly what he did. He had extramarital affairs with Hagar. You see what I'm saying? Which, that's what adultery is, right? When you know what I mean? Am I wrong? Y'all help me out if I'm wrong, because that's what I see when I see it. You see what I'm saying? Granted, the wife set up the situation, but the husband did the situation. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, Sarah basically set her husband up to commit adultery because she wanted to have a surrogate baby that was never supposed to even happen. Only for Abram to be like, yep, let's do it, right? And it reminds me of Adam and Eve, because it's like Adam knew what to do and what not to do. Now, whether he relayed that to his wife in the way that it should have been, I don't know, because clearly she did her own thing and then brought it to him and he was like, yep, let's do it, because he ate it too. You know what I mean? I think what I find really even further interesting about this is that in the same way that Adam blamed Eve for him falling, Abram tells Sarah, after Sarah complains the fact that Hagar is acting out of pocket, right? Abram tells Sarah, no, that's your handmaid. You deal with that. That's you. That's all you. Like, bruh, we was just in it together. Now it's all me. Now I'm by myself with it. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it was a really interesting dynamic that took place between Abraham, Hagar, and Sarah, right? What this also shows me is that in the same way that Adam lacked the necessary leadership to lead his wife versus his wife leading him, Abram lacked the necessary leadership in leading his wife versus his wife leading him, right? I'm starting to see a mirror of things that are taking place here, right? Now, granted, Abram is still Yah's chosen, just like Adam was Yah's chosen. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't negate that fact, but it does show me that there was a lack of leadership here, because what I see that should have happened, which is the same thing that should have happened with Adam, right? What should have happened was Adam should have told Eve, nope, we're not going to eat that. Put it down, right? In the same way, Abram should have looked at his wife Sarah and was like, nope, we're not going to do that. We're going to stand on the word of the Lord and be patient and wait, right? So what I'm ultimately saying is a lack of leadership here. And I'm not putting Sarah off the hook, right? Because she was impatient, right? She lacked patience. She lacked self-control, right? She was struggling to be who she needed to be. But it brings into question, if the man is the head, if the man is the leader, he should be helping her work through that struggle, not engaging in the foolishness, right? In the same way that she was, she wanted this because she wanted to have a baby so bad. It leads me to believe that Abram wanted to get down too. he wanted to get down too, because why else would you not listen to the word of the Lord? You see what I'm saying? Same thing that happened with Adam, right? It makes me believe you wanted to eat the fruit too, because why else would you not stand on the word of the Lord unless you wanted to do it too, right? So don't just try to blame her. You're the leader here. She's following your lead. If you're not leading, what are we doing? You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I think, and all of this happens in Genesis verses 16, I think verses 1 through 6. Like, we haven't even went through the whole, chapter yet. And this is what's going on, right? Yeah. So, I mean, she needed leadership, and that's what was lacking here, right? Hold on, make sure I'm covering everything. Yeah, so, looking at the book of Jasher, right? Chapter 16 also, because I want to make sure I'm seeing all of the sides of it, right? So Hagar, she ends up running away because Sarah is dealing harshly with her, right? Now, this made me think, Sarah, why would you deal harshly with her when you're the one who put her in this situation? Like, are you serious? You did this. Why would you deal harshly with her? Only for me to go to the book of Jasher to find out, oh, that's why she's dealing harshly with her. So Hagar, now baby mama Hagar, is acting real out of pocket, talking out the side of her neck, right? So basically, we get into Jasher chapter 16, only to find out Hagar is rubbing it in Sarah's face. She's basically taunting her for the most part. She's basically, she messing with her about it, being messy. About the fact that she conceived, but she haven't. Like, you been with your man this whole time and you couldn't have no baby. I came in with your dude one time and I got me one. Ha 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 ha. You see what I'm saying? Like, she acting real out of pocket. Now, for Sarah, you got to understand, Hagar was given to Sarah as a servant from the Pharaoh, right? Can you imagine your servant talking cash money to you after you done taught her everything she knows? She only know what she know because of you. And now she acting like I got the one up, like I'm better than you. That's why she dealing harshly with her, because she was talking out the side of her neck. She was acting and doing the most, right? And this is where Sarah you know, she starts to get insecure. She starts to believe, is she better than me? Does the Lord favor her over me? You know what I mean? Because she's had kids. I'm not having any kids, right? So now Sarah's dealing with insecurity. She's dealing with a baby mama who's acting out of pocket. She's dealing with the fact that she still hasn't had children. Like, Sarah got a lot going on right now. And instead of Abram, who's supposed to be the leader here, instead of Abram stepping in and saying, or putting Hagar in her place, he tells Sarah, that's all you, that's on you. You got it. Whatever you want to do, that's on you. Like, I ain't a part of that no more. Like, are you serious? So you get to stick yours in, pop out one, and you done? That's it? You ain't got nothing else to say? That's how I read it. That's not what it said, but that's how I read it. You see what I'm saying? It's like, you know what? This is real messy. This is real housewives of Genesis. Like, you see what I'm saying? Because you got a man who willingly committed adultery to please his wife. I know that sounds insane. That sounds insane, but that's what happened. You got a wife who willingly allows her husband to swing because she wants a baby. And you got a servant baby mama who's, by all accounts, on a normal account, is considered less than Sarah, acting like she's better than Sarah because she done slept with her man and got pregnant, and Sarah been with her man and still ain't pregnant. Like, when I tell you this was on some Real Housewives type, I don't even know how else to put it, right? It was so many levels of wrongness in this situation. And I know we typically, or for me, right, typically when I hear this story, it's always about, Sarah not having faith, right? Which she didn't, because she didn't want to wait. But nobody ever goes deep into what really, really, really went down and the ramifications of what went down, right? Like, nobody really goes into that, right? So yeah, all of this goes down. Hagar runs off, right? Only for the Lord to find her, tell her, don't get me wrong, I'm going to make your seed great and I'm going to multiply your seed, but go back and submit yourself to Sarah. Basically, I'm going to bless you, but don't get it twisted. She's still your master. Go back and humble yourself. Yeah, because you're not supposed to be out here just talking out the side of your neck and acting a fool and thinking it's cool. No, go humble yourself to the person who you was just acting a fool with. Go humble yourself. Go submit yourself. Like, even Hagar didn't get off scot-free. You see what I'm saying? Like, so many things happened in Genesis chapter 16 and Joshua chapter 16 that I just feel like most people don't even go into depth about it. And the fact that the Lord revealed to me all of these little pieces of brokenness and all of these pieces of sin that really actually took place during this time, I'm grateful that he showed it to me, but I'm just like, whoa, my mind is blown, because you got a surrogate / baby mama, adultery, jealousy, insecurity, not taking responsibility lack of leadership, lack of accountability, like so many different things was happening. And I'm like, I can't keep track. I can't keep track. It was a lot going on. Okay, I don't want to make this video too long because I'm gonna go ahead and start working on the next episode. But let me know what you think in the comments. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, do all of the things. Did you guys see what I saw, right? Did he show you what he showed me, or did he show you something different? Again, I asked him to uncover the truth of his word while also revealing the lies that people have said about it, right? He uncovered a lot of truth for me today with this Genesis chapter 16 and Jasher chapter 16. So yeah, I'm like, this a whole TV show or something right here. Anywho, so looking forward to seeing you guys again soon. I hope this kind of resonated with you, and I'll see you again next time. Peace.